gentlemen, welcome to Retro Warriors episode 261. Woo. As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by resident old bastard, Chris Saturn.
Hello.
Saturn, we have one piece of housekeeping.
Two pieces of housekeeping.
We have two pieces of housekeeping. The first one is that check the timestamps if you want to jump straight to the episode topic. What's our other housekeeping?
I realized on the last episode, 260, that we were covering Satoru Iwata, and I had mentioned that it was our 5th anniversary, and then we were doing it because we did that back on the first episode. That was our second episode. We did Satoru Iwata for our second episode. So,
it's okay. Yeah. Nobody called us on it. Our first episode was Cute 'em Ups.
Yes, that's correct.
But you know what? Satoru Iwata was super cute, so it still kind of counts. That's totally fine.
He was adorbs.
I noticed that too after that episode. But that was also back when we were recording every week, so it's it was pretty close.
Right, yeah, so pretty
time wise. Yeah.
Is that how that works?
My week.
Yes, sir.
I have been selling some N64 stuff.
Yeah.
Some duplicates, some games I don't want. I'm not going to name them because people will get offended that I don't like those games. But it stars a cartoon bear that carries a bird around with him.
Right.
And people get very upset when I say that I do not like that series of games.
I don't like it either.
Enjoyed them. I don't hate them. I'm not like, oh, they're badly designed. Like, I get it. I just don't. I don't know.
I just don't like 3D platformers very much.
So I have sold some N64 stuff, some duplicates, to fund my recent foray into Game Boy Advance collecting.
It's your first time playing a Game Boy Advance, right?
Yeah, I've never played one.
Right.
Well, so I was a big GBA guy back in the day, and I sold all of it to get a DS, and I sold all of that to get a PSP, and I sold all of that to get like a DS Lite, and then I sold all of that to get a 3D. Yeah. Well, as a teenager, I worked at GameStop, and so I would be like, I'd be standing there like, man, I really want the new whatever. And then I'd be like, well, I have this, this, and this. And I'd look up the credit and be like, that's enough. And then I had no impulse control.
Yeah, see, when I worked at EB, my manager, before I became a manager, was constantly on my case about, well, I know you bought like 9 games last month. Why haven't you traded any of them in yet? I don't trade in games. Well, you could help us. We need some trade-ins.
So so with my home consoles, I'm in a spot where I'm pretty happy with the mini console situation that I have.
Right.
I've got my Turbo, my PlayStation, and my NES, my SNES. Everything has a wireless controller. Everything is hacked, has all the games I wanted. I'm pretty happy with that being
Turbo isn't hacked yet.
Do what?
Your Turbo isn't hacked yet.
Oh, yeah. That one I actually don't super even care if it gets hacked because it has most of the games I want. But when it is, I'm sure I'll add some stuff to it. But I'm pretty happy with that as my how I play home consoles situation, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But my handheld situation, I like to think that I'm pretty good about resisting just buying things for sheer nostalgia. I like to think I'm pretty good about that. Don't snort at me. But the GBA is a system that I am intensely, unreasonably nostalgic for. Mm-hmm. And I have several GBAs, none of which I've bought. They were all given to me. Mm-hmm. Just over the years, people were like, do you want this thing? And I'm like, sure, an backlit original model GBA. Great. Now I can just do nothing with it, I guess.
Right.
And so I finally picked up 2 AGS 101 GBA SPs. One is modded with an aftermarket shell to look just like the NES version of the SP that they came out with, but with the brighter... Yeah, but with the brighter 101 screen.
Right.
And the other one is an original all OEM Pearl Blue 101.
Nice.
And I've decided that I do actually love the GBA enough to sell some N64 stuff that I don't want because it's duplicates.
Right.
To pick up the GBA cartridges I do want.
Yeah.
And GBA collecting is insane right now. If you're looking for Game Boy Advance games, then holy shit. Oh my God, they are expensive. Like 5-6 years ago, it was like you could get GBA cards for $10 easy. Lots of them, good ones. Now, like the minimum amount of money for 90% of the stuff worth having is $20 and up. Minimum.
What do you think happened?
I really don't know. And what I've noticed, because I've been using price charting, and it's been because I mean we talk a lot about collecting on the show. Yeah. We just did a whole episode on game collecting, but basically what we said in that episode is we aren't really collecting right now.
I'm not
and
buying new
haven't-
things. I haven't stopped collecting. I'm just not buying.
Right?
as many
Yeah,
new
yeah.
things.
I'm sorry. We're not buying like collectibles. We're buying new things that are coming out on the market,
Right.
but not like old stuff.
I'm not getting rid of my collection. I'm just
Right.
I'm not adding
adding
to it at the
to
moment.
it necessarily. Yeah, and
Because
we're
of
both in the
prices.
Yeah, and so this is my first foray back into like real like original hardware cartridge collecting in years.
Right.
And what I noticed is the spike, the really high GBA spike, it's been trending upward, but it has spiked hard since January 2020.
Weird.
And in my head, I'm trying to remember when they announced the Analog Pocket.
Oh yeah. Right.
And I'm wondering if that's spiking a lot of it. So I'm just not sure. So I'll say this: if you're planning on getting an Analog Pocket, and you're gonna want some games for it, might want to
Start
get on
investing.
That. Yeah, sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
I
I
also
say that
added
was late last year that they announced it, so that probably adds up.
Yeah, I've also been picking up Game Boy and Game Boy Color stuff that I've been after. Just which is also getting a little expensive. Not as bad as GBA, but still, it's getting up there. And I did pick up a backlight for my Game Boy Color.
Nice.
And a new shell for it from Handheld Legend, which is one of the many resellers of the many different types of backlight mods available. Yeah, I've never done a backlight mod, and it was completely solderless. Just drop in and then fight with it for 45 minutes to get it to shut properly.
Nice. And then get one hair on the screen.
I did get one hair in there, and I need to open it back up and blast it with some compressed air, but I just can't be fucked to do it. I'm just like, nah, it's fine. It's a GBA screen. It's what, 2.5 inches diagonal? Like, I don't care. I'm fine with it. And it's really nice. I did go for a TFT screen instead of an IPS. One for one because it does feel a little more authentic.
Right.
And two because it's a little easier on the batteries because it's still running on AA's.
Right.
But yeah, just kind of getting back into collectoring in general. And I gotta say, it's awful now. It's awful.
It's been awful
People
for a
are
while.
like, oh my God, I guess I've just been out of it for so long that I didn't realize how bad it had gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm selling some boxed N64 stuff for outrageous prices. Obscene prices.
The last time I sold something that would be considered collectible was one of my Earthbound strategy guides from the mid-90s, and it was beat to hell. Like, it was held together with like ancient Scotch tape, and like pages were falling out, and I took meticulous pictures of every possible problem with it. Corners were just destroyed, and I put it on eBay, and it sold for like $110.
and I don't mind saying this because I start all my auctions at, I've been doing a penny.
Right. Yeah, same here.
One of my, I started, I just accidentally clicked the automatic recommended, which is still low.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to gouge anybody.
Yeah, me either.
You know, I'm really not. Like, I start it low, and then you guys tell me what it's worth. Whatever, I don't care.
Which is way more than I think it should be worth.
And I sold an original model GBA, unbacklit, all OEM parts.
Right.
For, I think, like $55. You can't play an original model GBA. You can't see it.
Not with human eyes.
Not like,
yeah, you can. You just go into the bathroom, you turn on the heat lamp, and you sit directly under it. That's how I played it.
And it's just, I sold an AGS 101, an original model SP. I started it at a penny. It sold for $90. It's front lit. It looks like shit. I was just like, well, I'll sell these because I'm not going to use them now that I have these two 101s, and I'll recoup some of my cost. I didn't think it would like pay for them. It's just, it is insane, the market right now.
Right.
I'm blown away, and I've not even been looking at other stuff. Only stuff I've looked at is N64 and GBA because I'm selling N64 and I'm buying GBA.
Right.
And it's just unreal.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Like, for years we've been talking about the bubble's going to burst eventually. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
Know how either.
And if it does burst, these people who are right now paying ludicrous amounts for things are going to be devastated financially.
Oh yeah, because I'm paying what I consider high dollar, but I'm not paying like $150 a game, like some of these insane prices out there. It just has me blown away that it's so bad right now. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it's so bad, and I don't even particularly. We had someone on our Retro Gaming in 2020 episode write in and say, hey, it's not the actual silicon that is so wonderful. It's the games,
Right.
and man, they got it right, because holy cow, some of these games like Ocarina of Time is a great game. Is it an $80 great game? Oh no. I don't know that I'd pay that.
Yeah, that's probably less than what it originally cost after inflation.
I guess so. To be fair, because I always forget inflation. You know,
and that game was originally, I believe, 60 or 70.
Yeah, that's fair. That
was
fair.
in $98.
I guess GBA, I think, shocked me the most, because the last time I went in a store and bought GBA games was at GameStop in probably around 2008 to 2010 range.
Which is probably the last time they carried them.
And when I went to check out, they just had a little cardboard box next to the register full of GBA cards, and every one of them was like $3.99 and less.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than the Pokemons and Final Fantasy VI and Minish Cap, those were the three that weren't in there, but everything else was in there, and it was $5 or less. I just bought a huge pile of carts and spent $50-$60 just buying this whole little box next to the register and getting good games, both Metroids, Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, just some really good games. Yeah. And then just a few years, I guess a decade later, to be fair, it's $30-$40 a game.
Well, also,
it's insane.
I feel like with especially with examples like that, GameStop had this habit when consoles were dying of deflating the market for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Where they would just try to clearance out and get rid of everything they could. And that kind of plummeted prices for a little while. And there was a recovery period from that. And I feel like right now it's a little inflated, but it's post-recovery inflated.
Right. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've eaten up enough time complaining that things are too expensive.
Yeah.
So we can continue.
So there was a Steam sale the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've had to avoid it because of my GBA habits.
I kept looking at stuff on there, and I was like, "Oh, do I need to buy this? Is now the time? Is now the time when I need to buy this?" And I decided, instead of spending money on games that I probably won't get around to playing for possibly years, instead I would get something that I would be able to appreciate today, which was so the way that I run my laptop, I have my my main drive, which has got my operating system on it. And then I had a 1 terabyte hard drive that had all my Steam games on it, and then an external 1 terabyte hard drive which had spillover Steam games and emulators and stuff like that on it. And so I replaced both of those hard drives with solid state drives. So now I'm running 3 solid state drives on my laptop, and it is so nice and fast.
That seems excessive, but all right then.
Quiet. Yeah, so now I've got my OS on a solid state drive. I've got the 1 terabyte solid state for Steam stuff, and then the 1 terabyte external solid state for all my spillover. And it's nice. It's so nice. Everything is speedy and fast. I was having an issue with whenever I was playing on an emulator on here, because I had my emulators on my external hard drive. If I wanted to save state or rewind or something like that, and I'd been playing for a few minutes, it would have to spin up the drive again in order to do so. And the emulator would just hang for 15-20 seconds.
And you'd have that did it freeze moment.
And it was driving
over and
me
over.
insane.
Yeah.
And also, I think that drive might have been dying anyway. So I decided, let's just upgrade everything. And it's such a nice little upgrade, and it costs less than $200 to get 2 terabytes of solid state storage added to my laptop. Which is the prices have just gotten so much better on solid state. So
for sure, it's nuts.
Right.
It is crazy cheap.
Yeah. Also, while I was not buying games, I went ahead and bought some games. I got the
but they weren't from the Steam sale.
No,
so it's fine.
No, these are not on the Steam sale, so it's okay.
Perfect.
It doesn't count as long as I'm paying full price, right? No, the Namco Museum Archives came out, which is a collection of NES Namco games bundled together in 2 separate archives. And
Yes.
I picked up the Xbox One versions. And it's nice. Like normally I bitch anytime that a classic collection like this is just the home ports and not the arcade versions. But Namco has re-released the arcade versions of all of their games so many times that it was really neat to get a chance to see these different ports of them.
Yeah.
And this was just, I think between the two collections, it was 18 NES games. And I had a bunch of credit on my Xbox anyway. So between both collections, it cost me less than $15 anyway.
Right. Which is about how much a bunch of Namco NES ports should cost.
Right, exactly. But there were some good ones on there. The first one has that import Splatterhouse game that never came out over here.
Nice. Does it have Famicom Tower of Druaga?
It does. It has the Famicom Tower of Druaga on there. And then the second collection has Legacy of the Wizard, which I didn't expect since it's a Falcom game that Broderbund published over here. But whatever, I don't care. It's on there. It's a good game. And then both collections have a new game, a new NES game by Namco on them. The first one has a Pac-Man Champion Edition, demaked to the NES.
Yes, I saw that. How is that?
Excellent. It plays exactly like Pac-Man Champion Edition. Like when I am actively playing it, my impression is, how is an NES pulling this off? It's really good.
Now, is it really?
Yes.
They've stated it is within NES spec for sure.
Let me get to that. I'll explain exactly how I know that.
All right.
And then the second collection, the new game is Gaplus or Galaga 3. Mm-hmm. And it's an excellent port of that game too. I don't like, I think there were some home computer ports of it back in the day, but I don't think it hit console. And it's a really good port. They did a great job. The reason I know it plays on an NES is people have extracted the ROMs from the Steam release, and I've put them on my RetroPie.
Oh, wow. And it works.
It works perfectly.
Wow.
In fact,
that's great.
Some intrepid guys on the internets have made some beautiful box art for them. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and stuck them on my RetroPie. I put the nice box art on them so they look like retro releases.
Yeah.
Of course, then I spent half an hour editing my metadata so that it would have correct like release date and information about these games that didn't come out until this year.
Right.
And then since I was putzing with my RetroPie anyway, I went ahead and added the menu music from the TurboGrafx Mini on there.
Nice.
Because I already had the NES Classic, Super NES Classic, the Genesis Mini, and also that 8-bit version of the Wii Shop Channel music on my RetroPie, and now I also have the Turbo Mini, both songs on there. So that was nice. And I am once again happy with my Pi. So I just spent a while playing Pac-Man Champion Edition on it, and I was like, I just bought this on my Xbox, and I'm sitting here playing it on my RetroPie.
Hey, you bought the game. You can play it wherever you want.
Goddamn right I can. But it's nice.
Let's fire through some news. First up, Sega and Jupiter announced P-Cross S Mega Drive and Mark III edition for Switch, which I'm guessing is a Sega-themed P-Cross game.
And so far it is just Japan, unless that is updated since I put that in the notes. But it looks like it has like some Sonics and some Alex Kids and stuff like that.
It'll be on the eShop, so
right.
It's
so you can
basically not region locked at all.
Right.
Herzog's Vi being released as a new Sega Ages title. This is a very celebrated game.
I am so glad that you said that, because I will mispronounce German words every time.
I don't even know if I got it right. I just know that that's how people say it.
That sounds right.
And I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
So just rewind if you want to hear it. I do like the Sega Ages line, and I need to pick more of them up.
Right.
But
I'm sad that their release has slowed down compared to where it was originally.
It seems to have.
At first, it looked like they were going to be just pumping out a bunch of titles, and it's slowed down to a trickle, much like Nintendo's online releases.
Calling Nintendo's online releases a trickle is being kind.
Yeah, that's very generous.
Where it started at like 2008 Virtual Console era and has gotten worse. Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan has been indefinitely delayed due to COVID-19. Construction still underway.
Yeah,
so hopefully that all
at least
works
they
out.
are still working on it. It wasn't canceled, just delayed forever.
Well, I imagine as much money as it costs, they can't cancel it.
Right? Seriously.
New DVD exploit on PS2 may allow for burned games to play on the console with no software or hardware modifications.
Yes. Now,
that's very exciting.
Yes. And so they showed it off. Apparently, it already works. Now, the guy hasn't released the code because he doesn't want it to just get everywhere on the internet until he has perfected it. But they showed it off, and it works on some models of the firmware from the Slim PS2. It is not yet working on any, to my knowledge, of the original PS2s.
Well, that's unfortunate because I'm still running a big fat PS2.
They are working on figuring out how to make it work on all of them. They're just not there yet. And the dude who was working on it said this particular exploit, because it takes advantage of how the system reads DVD videos and uses that to get into the game mode, it could, in theory, also work on the Xbox 360, the PS3, and other platforms.
Oh, wow. Now, is there any confirmation on whether or not that'll work for PS1 burned games?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, that's what I'm waiting on.
That was the whole, they think it should eventually work for anything as long as it is burned to a DVD, but I don't know if that means that non-DVD games would work.
YouTube no longer supports Wii U web browser.
No.
Sorry, 12-year-olds who aren't allowed to have iPads yet and have been using their dad's old Wii U. No more YouTube for you.
That sucks.
You'll have to upgrade to an iPod Touch. Yes, they still make them. Andrew McNamara leaving Game Informer, and recently came out that he's going to be moving to EA.
Huh.
That was on a Gama Sutra today, I believe.
That's a weird move.
Not that weird for someone in air quotes games journalism. Andy McNamara is, while I wouldn't say that Game Informer has in any recent years been a
relevant,
high quality source of games journalism, he's still a very high quality person.
Yeah, he's been there for almost 30 years at this point.
Yeah, he's very old school games journalism. One of the few veterans left in games journalism. It's unfortunate that we're losing him to a company like EA, but all the best to him.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that he's happy and continues doing what he enjoys.
Now, back when I first got Game Informer, back when it was still Funcoland's magazine instead of GameStop's magazine, I remember
back when it was Funko-Former.
Yeah, the first issue that I got had Chester Cheetah on the cover because they still made video games about Chester Cheetah.
Yep.
And this was
for kids at home. That's the Cheetos mascot.
The Cheetos
I don't think they know. I don't know what it is now. I assume it's an esports person.
Right. Yeah. Now it's just Ninja on there. No,
probably is.
He wasn't the editor yet. He was a writer for the magazine, but he wasn't yet the editor in chief. And back then, his handle in the magazine, because all video game magazines still made their writers all use handles in addition to their names.
Literally all of them.
All of them at the time.
It was weird.
And his was Andy the Game Dandy.
There you go.
So R.I.P. Andy the Game Dandy. Good luck.
He's still alive, Saturn.
No, he's going to EA. He's not alive anymore.
All right, then. He's dead to you. Ratings preview shows microtransactions in Crash 4. Activision later refutes that they are a microtransactions
actually,
in Crash 4.
Toys for Bob refuted it. Activision has said
pardon me.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
They weren't talking directly to a shareholder, so why would Activision ever speak? UK's House of Lords calling for immediate regulation of loot boxes. Now, I don't know much about Houses of Lords, but I assume that's a pretty big step toward it happening.
Right. So, yeah, that's I'm a little behind on my British politics, but I believe that would mean it would still need to go through the House of Commons after that. I don't want to...
You could just make up words and I would believe you.
I don't want to claim that I am definitively accurate there, but I believe that is the process. I don't know what would happen after that before it becomes law. But if somebody from the UK wants to tell us, that'd be great.
Please do. Yeah, I'd be interested at how much this happening makes it likely that it will happen.
Right.
Atari 800 VCS, which is what the VCS is now called for some inexplicable reason.
Yeah, even though it is neither an Atari VCS or an Atari 800.
Yes, is launching this November for a mere $399. And Atari has been shown has been showing off their port of their mobile missile command game and stating that it is the definitive version on the VCS.
Yeah. So Atari.
So instead of your Xbox One X
Right.
with Halo Infinite, why don't you get a VCS for $400 goddamn dollars
Yeah.
to play Missile Command? I like Missile Command, but come on.
But they said it might play other Android games too.
So does my phone.
What?
You guys have phones, don't you?
Right? God. Granted, your phone probably costs $400 as well.
That's true, but it does a lot more.
Yes, it is not an Atari for one thing.
Worms Royale announced for PS4, PS5, and PC plays as real-time Battle Royale Worms game rather than turn-based strategy format. Interesting turn for the Worms franchise. We'll see how it works out.
I wish them luck, though, because I've yet to see Team 17 really put out a bunch of stinkers, so hopefully it turns out all right.
NBA 2K21 for PS5 and Xbox Series X listed for $69.99 for the standard edition, bringing the question up, will the new generation of games bump up to $69.99 for their standard editions from the $59.99 that they have been at?
I have a feeling this is their trial balloon. That Take-Two drew the short straw and decided they would be the first ones to try to push out the $70 game, and if people bite, if it sells even decently, then slowly everyone else will start selling for $70 as well.
But rest assured, people, that means the silver and gold versions of the game will also go up $10, and the season pass will still be there, as well as the microtransactions. EVO Online. Oh, go ahead.
I think they already said that the special edition of the game is going to be like 100 something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
EVO Online 2020 canceled. I'm not even going to get into all of the shit that the FGC has been embroiled in lately, but I have been following it closely, and I will say that it is very unfortunate, and I hope that people that have done wrong are ousted and brought up on charges where appropriate, and I hope that victims can have some solace. That's all we're going to say on that.
The expediency in which just about every game publisher responded to this and withdrew their support for EVO was pretty staggering.
It almost makes me wonder if some of them were wanting to withdraw support because this kind of stuff doesn't just crop up overnight. These are things that brew over time, and people talk and you hear things, and then all of a sudden the House of Cards topples. It's unfortunate.
It's the House of Lords. Just we already discussed.
Yeah, pardon me. It's unfortunate that it happened, but I'm glad that again anybody that did any wrong is taken care of.
Yeah, brought to account.
Kellogg's and Mojang announced Minecraft Creeper Crunch, keeping with our weird Retro Warriors cereal theme. We talk a lot about cereal on multiple shows.
That's true.
I can't wait to eat a creeper.
I believe you.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Live Alive trademark registered in Australia and Europe, pointing to a possible remake or re-release of the Japan-only Super Famicom JRPG. No wonder I couldn't pronounce it. So that's exciting.
It's a game. It's on Super Famicom. I actually have a cart. It's actually a really weird and neat game that I have never gotten around to finishing, but it is neat, and I am hoping that we actually do see a English release this time. Because that could be nice.
Yeah. 8BitDo and Microsoft announced a controller specifically for Microsoft's xCloud streaming service that appears to be just an Xbox-branded SN30 Pro.
Yeah.
Which, on the one hand, okay. On the other hand, it kind of makes me wonder if big companies are going to start turning to 8BitDo instead of Hori for their first-party controllers. I wouldn't.
Well, with Microsoft and 8BitDo both being Western companies, that does make sense. I can see how that could happen.
Is 8BitDo a Western company?
I thought they were. I thought they were Western based. Maybe not.
No, they're super duper in China.
Oh, okay. My bad.
At least all of their they may have a Western arm, but for a while there, like. Even when I was starting to really heavily buy their products, a lot of their stuff was very poorly translated and things. Yeah, they're very much Chinese.
My bad.
Company. As far as I know, I could be wrong. But I would be interested to see them replace Hori because I like 8BitDo stuff more than I've liked basically any of Hori's stuff, and Hori makes good stuff.
Hori makes great stuff. I don't know if they make as great of stuff lately as they used to, but they still make great stuff.
Ryosuke Yoshida, designer of Devil May Cry and Monster Hunter, has resigned from Capcom and is looking to work for an overseas developer.
And I couldn't tell if that meant that he already is working for that company and just isn't allowed to say who
general.
it is.
Yeah.
Right. So...
Sega announces the Astro City Mini, a mini candy cab loaded with 36 arcade games, including some that have never had home releases. Currently announced right now are Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, Columns 2, Dark Edge, Puzzle in Action, Tainter, Virtua Fighter, Fantasy Zone, and Altered Beast.
Oh, thank God Altered Beast made it.
I was so worried. First of all, let me just say that the Astro City Candy Cab is the most beautiful arcade cabinet ever produced by mankind.
I agree.
Also, this thing seems a little larger than, by comparison, the Neo Geo Mini,
right.
Such that it may be a little more playable as a game device more than a novelty.
Right.
And currently not announced for the West, and so I may be importing one of these. I don't know if I can resist. It's just too cute.
It is pretty adorable.
And then finally, Dotemu and Falcom announced Ys Origin getting a Switch port, including physical releases in all regions. And I think Limited Run Games is doing a special edition of it, aren't they?
Limited Run has already started taking pre-orders. In Asia, I want to say it was, I don't remember who it was, but it's already up for pre-order in the Asia region as well. And they announced an European partner will publish it in Europe as well. But,
oh boy, and European partner.
Good old and European partner.
I can't wait. Anyway, let's get into the topic at hand. This week we're talking Dole Food Company presents Super Monkey Ball, sponsored by Dole Bananas.
Yes.
Is Super Monkey Ball. I'm excited for this one. I've played a lot of it. As far as summary, Super Monkey Ball is a game about cute animals trapped in bubbles, forced to navigate impossible labyrinths or risk falling to their deaths. It's hard to explain, but we'll try after our listener feedback.
Yes.
First up is Rhaegar Starkong, who says, "Picture it. It's late 1999, early 2000. Toshihiro Nagoshi walks into the boardroom at Sega's amusement division with briefcase in hand. Today is the day he changes everything with one simple pitch. It's Marble Madness, but with monkeys. Also, you don't control the monkey ball because no one can control a monkey in a ball, but you control the whole course. I can only assume that it was around this point that the idea was met with a few chuckles. Fast forward 20 years and numerous games and ports later, with millions of copies sold, one has to ask oneself, why did the developers not try to incorporate bald monkeys into their Yakuza series?"
Yet.
Tamachan87 writes in, "Takeshi, get into my office. Takeshi, I need you to listen very carefully because I'm coming down from these shrooms. My daughter, she has this ball and she puts the hamster in it. Takeshi, there is a hamster inside this ball and it runs around and falls downstairs and it's hilarious. Takeshi, we can make money from this. Call the animal game company, the ones that shove animals and robots. They'll love this. Sega or something, the company with a karate guy who beats up small children. Takeshi, we can't use hamsters. Hamtaro is already a thing. Hamsters are over. Shove monkeys into the balls. Give them bananas. I don't know. Takeshi, call my wife and then an ambulance. I'm going to nap for a bit."
I like that all of our listener feedback is basically just dramatizations of the pitch for the game.
And then our final listener right in from Poo Pass. "I took mushrooms with my friend and played monkey ball. We spent what seemed like 1,000 hours on the guitar level trying to somehow cheat the system and ride the slimmest string. When we finally thought all hope was lost, we gave it one last shot. With our heads held low and our tails between our legs, we gave it one more shot, and by golly, did we fucking smash across that thin line. But unfortunately, it was a burner GameCube, and we didn't have a memory card, so no one will ever believe us."
What is happening here?
Those listener write-ins were only 20% as ridiculous as this game is.
I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge that apparently I am the only person who has ever played Monkey Ball sober.
Well, I played it as a child, so
I'm sorry, the only adult that has
I
ever
wasn't
played.
on mushrooms when I was 13.
Surprisingly.
I'm not on them now either, but I wasn't then. Oh man. So Saturn, tell us the release info for Super Monkey Ball.
I don't know how I can top all of that.
I don't know. All I can in my head, I just keep thinking, Takeshi, get in my office. Call the Animal Game Company.
You know, I when I was writing notes for this episode, I thought I was being super clever just by squeezing as many Dole plugs as I could into the notes, just because of how many Dole logos you see throughout the game. But after the listener feedback, I don't know if that's enough.
You feel less clever,
Right? I feel like I've really let us down here. So yeah, it was developed by Sega Amusement Vision, published by Sega. This was during that brief period of time in the late 90s, early 2000s when Sega was splitting their company into all these separate development companies. Released in arcades June 23rd of 2001 as just Monkey Ball with no Super. And then it was ported to the GameCube as a launch title in every region as Super Monkey Ball.
But what made it Super, Saturn?
Multiplayer.
Ah, that is super. As far as first encounters, Monkey Ball is one of those games that I just kind of randomly picked up on GameCube one day, and it just became part of my rotation, specifically Super Monkey Ball 2.
Nice.
I thought it was the original for years, and then I replayed the original and went, oh no, this is too hard. This is not the Monkey Ball I love.
Right.
And then I played Super Monkey Ball 2 and was like, here it is.
Yeah.
I spent probably most of my time playing Monkey Billiards more than anything else. I was a big Yahoo Pool veteran, and it was a seamless transition from Yahoo Pool into Monkey Billiards.
That's how they get you. They start
They get you.
Yahoo
Pool.
Billiards is the gateway billiards.
Into Monkey Billiards. Next thing you know, you got a table full of monkeys. You're on mushrooms.
That's the way things work.
There's a knife stabbed in the edge of the pool table. You know,
Somebody's smoking pure monkeys.
there you go.
So yeah, I was so excited before it came out, just because there was the idea of a Sega game coming out on a Nintendo console.
Yeah, this was that weird post-Sega collapse era where we didn't know what Sega was going to look like.
Yeah, this was the very first non-Sega platform Sega release. So I was so excited. I think they also had an Xbox and a PS2 game announced for about the same time period. But then along comes Monkey Ball as a launch title on the GameCube. So I picked it up for my GameCube, and on my way out of the mall after buying it, I walked through the arcade, and there was the arcade version standing there as well. So I was like, well, I have to try out whatever this thing is that I just bought.
Right.
And it's just, it was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. Let's hear about the development.
Yeah, so the arcade version was built on the Sega Naomi hardware, the same basic architecture as the Dreamcast. And originally it was designed as just a ball rolling through a maze. The designer was Toshihiro Nagoshi, who was formerly of Sega AM2. He worked on Daytona USA and other games with AM2 at the time. And he was looking for just a simple game that anyone could just pick up and play. And so they just made this game of a ball rolling through a maze. And the early testers found the game so boring that they just didn't want to play it. And also they found it really difficult to predict what the movement of the ball was going to be, because it was just, a plain ball. And so they decided they would stick something in there. And apparently one of the designers on the team had already developed these monkey characters and didn't know what to do with them. So they just shoved them in balls.
Yeah.
And according to Nagoshi, despite originally developing the game on Naomi, they found the GameCube version easier to develop because of the GameCube hardware and Nintendo's development kits. And they said that the port to GameCube was handled by 4 staffers in less than 2 months.
The GameCube we've mentioned it before. The GameCube was one of people loved developing for the GameCube. Yeah. I don't know if it was just because they used really easy hardware or what. But it was also a very powerful system, and it did not get credit for that.
Well, according to the interview that I was reading for this, they said that it was just Nintendo provided so many tools for developing on the GameCube that it was way easier than developing for Sega's own Dreamcast.
All it took was like 7 years of having no third-party games on N64 to convince them.
But yeah, so they hammered out this port in 2 months, and they enhanced the graphics in the process. And because they finished it so quickly and they had all this time left over, they went ahead and added in multiplayer and all the bonus game modes as a bonus. Like, none of that was planned originally. They were just like, oh, well, might as well keep working on Monkey Ball.
And boy, am I glad they did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad they did.
Right?
As far as gameplay, it is important to note that the arcade version had a distinct banana-shaped joystick that I can only assume was horrible to use.
It's amazing. It's great. It's curved towards the screen. So when you grab it, you've got a real nice banana grip on this ridiculous banana joystick.
Banana Grip is my wrestling name.
But yeah, it controls incredibly well for the dumbest looking controller.
It is similar in design to games like Marble Madness, where you're rolling a ball through a maze, but unlike Marble Madness, the camera is behind the shoulder of the monkey in the ball, so it's this third person, and the controls seem to kind of tilt the level rather than propel the monkey.
Right.
And the monkey sort of rolls from the gravity as you tilt the arena around them.
Right. So you're just controlling. It's more like playing a labyrinth, like little toy labyrinth mazes.
Yes.
Than it is
or like
the
to give a recent example, plays very much like the puzzles in Breath of the Wild, the rolling ball puzzles in Breath of the Wild. It's very much the same,
but with much more charm because
but with monkeys.
Yes, with monkeys and less frustration because there was no motion controls.
Right. So let's start with the most boring part of the game, which is the main game.
Right, the arcade game.
So in Monkey Ball, this is what the arcade game was. You've got 3 difficulty levels available. Beginner, which is 10 levels. Advanced, which is 30. And Expert, which is 50.
Yep.
There are secret exits found on some floors to kind of like warp to later floors.
Right.
And there are... There are mouth-watering Dole bananas scattered throughout the stages that can be collected. 100 gives you a 1-up. Players take turns in multiplayer mode, and playing through a difficulty without a single fallout, which is you falling out of the stage, will unlock the extra mode, which is beginner extra, advanced extra, and expert extra. And completing all extra modes will unlock master difficulty.
And by that point, you've gone completely insane.
Yeah, I'll say this about the first Monkey Ball, and we'll talk about the sequel later, but... the game is tremendously difficult.
It's almost like it's a quarter eater.
Even the home port is just beyond frustrating for me to play.
And you have to unlock additional continues, too. You start out with a fairly limited number of them. Now, you can gain more through collecting bananas and getting more score and everything, but you have to unlock unlimited continues. And because the game is so brutally difficult, and if I remember right, losing all your lives will reset you not necessarily to the level you were just on, but a previous checkpoint. So it's very frustrating.
When I lost all my lives, it was just game over. But I couldn't even, I could barely make it past. I made it past beginner. And then I started on the advanced, and it was just, I got so
You might not have gotten enough of a score to even get a continue.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No. Now I did get I had a number of lives.
Right.
But that was it. And what's really frustrating about the very first Monkey Ball is that you have to gain points by playing the tremendously difficult main game. That is always the same.
Right.
It's always the same levels in the same order. But you have to get points from playing that to unlock the party games, which we'll talk about in a bit. To the point that when you buy the game, all you can do is play this extremely hard arcade port.
Right. Yeah. And the real way to unlock anything, because the game shines as a multiplayer experience, but the default multiplayer that you can play on this normal mode is just taking turns and playing it. So really the selling point early on in the game, before you've unlocked anything, is just mocking your friends whenever it is their turn to play.
Yeah, making people angry is what the main game does. There is also competition mode, which is the same, but it has simultaneous split screen, which I could see being more fun. Now, I've not played this split screen. Are you on the same maze or two versions of the maze? Like, can you run into each other?
No. You're on multiple versions of the maze. You cannot run into each other.
That's good. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Right.
And I don't know if we've mentioned it. In fact, I know we haven't, but you're timed.
Yeah.
You got a minute.
And when it gets down to less than 10 seconds, the music gets really tense.
Oh, my God. And the levels really are designed in the meanest way. They're the meanest. They're so mean.
Yeah, even on beginner difficulty, there are some levels that are just cruel.
The final level on beginner difficulty is very mean.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to beat it. You have practice mode, which you can play any mode played in normal mode.
Yeah, when we first got it, after we failed at standard mode for hours and hours, one of because the way we used to play GameCube games, there was like 7 or 8 of us in a room whenever we were playing. And one of the people that was there with us was like, "What's this practice mode? Does it put bumpers on it like in bowling?" And so we all collectively, without any coordination, agreed to convince this person, yes, that's exactly what it is, and that yes, you should try it. And then they immediately rolled off at the very beginning, thinking there would be bumpers there. It's the greatest thing.
But eventually, in original Monkey Ball, you can unlock party games with your play points or through cheating.
Right.
But you have to have a cheat device. There are no built-in cheats to unlock party games, which I've noticed. At the outset of Monkey Ball 1, none of them are unlocked.
No. At least Monkey Ball 2 gives you some.
Yes, and I believe it's the same minigames in Monkey Ball 1 and 2, correct?
There are additional minigames added to Monkey Ball 2. I believe all of the standard Monkey Ball 1 minigames are unlocked by default in Monkey Ball 2.
In Monkey Ball, you've got Monkey Race, which is basically Mario Kart, but you're monkeys in a half pipe.
Yeah, and the controls kind of suck, but
it's got items. It's got items that you could pick up, like item boxes.
Right.
And the levels are very much like the Sonic the Hedgehog bonus level where you're running through the track.
Yeah.
It's that, but monkeys and hamster balls. It's actually a lot of fun.
Right.
You have Monkey Fight, which is 4 players dropped into an arena with spring-loaded boxing gloves attached to their balls.
Yeah, just like in
and
real
you get
life.
Points for knocking people out. It's basically that one Mario Party minigame.
I really want to see actual hamsters with spring-loaded boxing gloves on their balls.
The problem, Saturn, is that they would just slam the boxing glove into the ground and then get stuck.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's not a magic boxing glove like in video games. Damn.
You'd have to rig some type of rolling magnet type situation. I'll invent it later.
All right. We'll work
you also have Monkey Target, where you roll your monkey down a ramp and then open the ball so that it acts as a hang glider. Yeah. And you try to land on a giant dartboard target thing in the middle of the ocean.
It's the most bullshit of all of the party games. First of all, I love it, and we played a shit ton of it. But second, it fucking cheats, and it lies, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. And then you have the mini games. Which are also unlocked via play points. First up is Monkey Billiards, which is 9-ball billiards, but every single ball has a monkey in it.
Right.
Instead of being a regular billiards ball.
Yeah.
And it seems dumb, but it's so charming to slam monkeys around the table like that.
Yeah. And to hear their reaction, too.
Then you have Monkey Bowling and Monkey Golf, which, as you can assume, all of the orbular objects in those sports are replaced with monkeys and hamster balls.
My favorite is Monkey Golf, though, just because it's just a standard 18-hole golf course, just like golf, but they have little tiny golf clubs inside of their balls, and then they act like they're hitting a ball, but instead the ball that they are in gets propelled by it, and it's just the most adorable animation ever. You have to go look it up if you haven't seen it.
And really... Monkey Ball 2 is where the game shines.
Oh, yeah. They really polished it by that point.
In Monkey Ball 2, the levels are designed for home play, meaning they're not hateful.
They're not all quarter eaters.
Monkey Ball 1 hates you. The game fucking hates you, and it wants you to have nothing.
Right.
In Monkey Ball 2, they want you to have a good time. And it starts with multiple of the mini games unlocked. Specifically Monkey Billiards, which is what I'm there for.
Yeah.
It also lets you choose your levels, so you kind of have these different worlds you go to, and you've got a certain number of levels, but you can take them in any order, or if you fail one, you can jump to a different one.
Yeah, if I remember right, the level select screen is a lot like the one in Puzzle Bobble 2.
Mm-hmm. I have not played
where
Puzzle
it's
Bobble
kind
2,
of
so
triangular shaped, and you can just
It is.
Yeah.
And so that adds, just that alone, having the levels designed for home play, meaning they're not trying to squeeze money out of you, and being able to pick different levels and different paths makes the game 10,000 times more enjoyable. It goes from a thing that you take out after a few beers to watch someone scream at a television.
Oh, it was so good for that too.
To something you might actually play for fun on your own, by yourself. And I did, and it was fun.
Yeah, we definitely played more of Monkey Ball 2 than we did of Monkey Ball, but we went into it expecting hatred like we had from the first game.
Right.
And we were pleasantly surprised with how much friendlier it was.
Saturn, tell us about the characters and the story from Monkey Ball.
Okay, so first...
because there's a robust Monkey Ball lore.
Yeah. In the first game, there's barely anything, but by the time that they were getting into sequels, I almost said rolling into sequels, they had actually developed this ridiculous story. So you have in the original arcade game, you have one of three monkeys. You have Ai, Mimi, or Baby. Ai is the little boy monkey. And Mimi is a little girl monkey, and Baby is a baby monkey.
Yeah.
And then in the GameCube release... What's that?
I said you nailed it.
I did.
I got them all right.
That's all three of them. The GameCube release added a fourth, heavier monkey named Gongon, who is either everyone's favorite or least favorite monkey.
I loved Gongon. I always played Gongon.
Yeah, I am an II player. So
no wonder we hate each other so much.
Obviously, we're natural enemies. No, their natural enemy is Dr. Badboon, who has stolen bananas or something. I didn't really follow. Something happened, and then the monkeys all dance, and then they tell you that the magical spell is I poo, and then they get there in balls.
So Super Monkey Ball 2, like you're saying, adds a plot.
Yes.
But it doesn't just add like a text box of plot.
No, there's like cutscenes and shit.
Full on multiple cutscenes.
And I would say they're voiced, but they just speak gibberish.
Yeah, they're bananas, to put it lightly. They're fucking insane.
They're delicious, dull bananas.
It's like, if you're gonna eat a banana today, make it a dole. If anyone remembers the Donkey Kong Country cartoon, it's like that, but dumber. It's very dumb and weird.
Right.
And no one ever explains it.
No.
But so like you'll beat a world, and they're like, oh, we have to stop Dr. Badboon. And the monkeys, they all meet up with each other to make a plan for the next section of this very long, drawn out story. But the way they meet is their balls just fly toward each other in the air and just float there and talk. And in your head, I'm like, are you magical? What is going on? Why are you in the balls?
Well, they know magical spells. Clearly, they are magical monkeys.
And at no point does the game deal with the fact that there are monkeys and balls rolling around obstacle courses.
Right.
And it doesn't even touch it at all. It's just like, we got to stop Dr. Badboon. And you're like, why are you in a hamster ball? Anyway, we got to stop him. How are you flying? You better roll me through this course so I can stop him.
Right? How does rolling through the labyrinth stop him, though?
Why don't you just fly through the ending? You can fly. It makes no
It's true.
sense.
Every time they hit a goal, they fly off to the next level anyway. They have that ability.
Tell me about the presentation for Super Monkey Ball.
I can't. I'm too pissed off at the fact that the monkeys have been holding off on their flying ability this whole fucking time. No, it looks great. It's a great looking game, especially as a launch title on GameCube. It looked fantastic, had just great presentation, great graphics, great music. I love the
very
music.
fun, upbeat soundtrack. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The announcer for it, who it just really hams it up. I love the announcer in Monkey Ball. Their enunciation, their over enunciation of every possible word is fantastic. And for many years, the announcer isn't credited in the game. And for years, nobody knew who it was. And there was occasional speculation on some web forums. But in December of 2019, a YouTube personality named Nick Robinson spent a lot of time and traveled back and forth to Japan to learn that it was a voice actor named Brian Matt, and then he invited him to play some Monkey Ball with him.
Now, has Brian Matt done anything else that we would know him from?
I believe so, but I didn't look it up for this. But he is a voice actor.
Okay.
He's done other voice acting.
Let's talk Legacy, because it's the Monkey Ball, as you might not suspect, has a very long one.
Yeah, so there was the direct sequel. There was Super Monkey Ball 2, which came out a year later. So, and I would like to say that it came out a year later because they just like hammered out some new courses. But as we mentioned, they added in a story. They added in new mini games. There's all kinds of good shit in there for just being 1 year later.
Yep.
Then THQ co-developed a handheld version on the GBA in 2002.
Yes, Super Monkey Ball Jr.
Yep.
And I hear it's actually all right.
It's not bad. It's not great. It could
a little slow, a little
it could
low
benefit
frame rate.
from analog controls, but for a digital pad Monkey Ball, it's playable.
You could play it on your GameCube Game Boy player with an analog control.
I wouldn't recommend that. That version was later ported to the N-Gage in 2003.
So the most successful version.
Yeah, it's probably the best N-Gage game.
Okay, well, slow down. They had Splinter Cell and N-Gage.
It's probably the best N-Gage game. I played so much of that on my N-Gage. So that and Puzzle Bobble were the two games that were always in my system when I was just out and about. The first two games were later bundled together and released as Super Monkey Ball Deluxe in 2005 for PS2 and Xbox. That version removed all the Dole logos from the bananas due to some sort of licensing dispute. So you just had naked, bare bananas everywhere.
What the fuck does the marketing department at Dole Bananas have going on that they're like, no, we don't want to be on the Monkey Ball thing anymore. No, take it off. No more Monkey Ball. We're not about that now.
Get us out of that monkey contract.
Like what? Who there was like, no, we need out of that. We need out of that one for sure. No. Too much going on in the banana world for us to be sticking around with the monkeys. Like, what the fuck?
What they want
to Game of Thrones sponsorships lined up. It's coming out in a few years. We need to get that going.
Well, they're wanting to release it on the Xbox. We don't want our product associated with Xbox. Get us the fuck
Xbox
out of that
players
contract.
Hate bananas.
What if somebody talks about my mother on Xbox Live? Get us out of that shit.
I like to imagine Dole is just like, you want what? And they're like, the Monkey Ball games. They're like, we don't fucking know what that is. No, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Then, of course, there were several other sequels in the years since. There were sequels on DS, on PS2, on PSP, on Wii, on 3DS, on Vita. There's been several mobile games at this point. There has been a more recent arcade spin-off called Super Monkey Ball Ticket Blitz, which I'm sure you can assume exactly what it is by that name.
Yeah.
It's just another ticket machine.
You put your child in a monkey ball and roll them around a room.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And then they throw tickets in their ball, and whatever they catch, they get to keep. The Wii title, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, was recently re-released on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, which makes that the easiest to obtain game in the series at this point.
Although I have heard it is one of the lesser games because the series has sort of been downhill since Super
2.
Monkey Ball 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's widely regarded as the best, most fun one.
Right.
And I haven't played the later ones, so I can't speak to it. But just reading reviews and fans of the series making recommendations and stuff, they're hardcore. Like, no, Super Monkey Ball 2 was the peak.
Yeah, it is the peak.
Get better.
I picked up Banana Blitz on Xbox One, and I've played around with it a little bit, and it's fun. It's not a bad game. It just feels incredibly dry and bland compared to the first two. It feels more like a budget mobile game than it does like Monkey Ball 1 and 2 were incredibly impressive graphically for their time.
Oh, yeah.
And felt like, despite the fact they were simplistic games, they felt like they were high budget titles, and none of them since then felt like that.
Sega's arcade stuff really very much felt like that at that time,
right.
which was, even though this is a very simple game, they did a lot on Dreamcast. Even though it's a very simple game, it looks great and it plays great.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much there.
Right.
Sega Bass Fishing is not the deepest fishing game in the world.
Right.
But holy shit, is it fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it happened to come in that perfect era where Sega's arcade output was just stellar pick up and play games. So Also, I do want to mention that despite the fact that the game is very, very obviously sponsored by the Dole Food Company, Chiquita Brands licensed the characters from the game to include on stickers for their bananas. So if you bought Chiquita bananas around the launch of Super Monkey Ball 2, you get a little Chiquita sticker with Ai or Mimi or Baby or Gon on it. I'm
going on eBay right now to buy a Gon banana.
I have the Mimi sticker that I got off some bananas that I have on my Monkey Ball case right now. My ex saw them at the store, and like I got home from work and there was like 2 bunches of bananas on the counter. I was like, we don't even eat bananas that often. What is going on? And she was like, there's monkey balls on them. So we got monkey ball.
That makes me wonder if that's why Dole was like, no, you guys, you dealt with Chiquita?
Maybe.
Chiquita.
Right?
We're out. We're out.
Yeah, that could have been it. That could have been the line in the sand. Dole was like, we're not going back to that shit. They defouled those monkeys by sticking them on Chiquita.
Let's talk recommendations,
Yes,
aside from the delicious and nutritious recommendation to eat Dole bananas.
Yes, sir.
I having played the first 2, I would say, I would honestly say the first one is not really even worth your time. Go straight for Monkey Ball 2.
I'd say that the first one is fine as a arcade title. If you go into it expecting an arcade experience, it's fine.
Yeah.
But Monkey Ball 2, because Monkey Ball 2 is also available, there's no reason not to just go for that.
Right, or Monkey Ball Deluxe, which does remove the wonderful Dole Foods advertising, which makes it an inferior game.
Right.
But yeah, Monkey Ball Deluxe or Monkey Ball 2 seems to be where you need to go if you're wanting to get your Monkey Ball fix, and you should, because Monkey Ball 2 is great.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I know I spent a lot of time really hating on the first one, but only because the second one is so damn good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and regardless of what platform you have that the game has been made for, if you have PS2, Xbox, or GameCube, it's worth picking up at least Monkey Ball 2 just to give it a shot.
For sure. So that's Super Monkey Ball. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Play it. There you go.
You don't even need to be on mushrooms.
You don't. It probably wouldn't hurt. It actually it might make it worse. Maybe don't do that. As soon as Dr. Badboon comes out, you probably lose your fucking mind and have a bad trip. And I don't know that
nobody wants that. We want you to
drugs
stay
and play
safe.
Monkey Ball, kids.
Right.
Keep those separate activities.
God damn it.
They don't mix well. Anyway, thank you for listening to our show that you can support at patreon.com/retrowarriors, where you can hear Andrew and I talk about cereal a lot on our spin-off show, Talking Wizards. You can hear us argue about what topics to cover on our monthly show After Hours, or you can just listen to us early, 2 or 3 weeks early, talking about Microsoft Windows updates on our uncut versions of the show. But either way, we would love your support. If you don't want to support us financially, then you can also support us by rating and reviewing us on your podcast aggregator of choice, although preferably iTunes. I don't use iTunes, but it still is the mecca for podcasts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you want to drop us an iTunes review, that really genuinely does make a big difference for us. So please do that. Also, join our Discord.
Yes.
Please, there's a link in your show description. Come join it. It's great. It's been a wonderful place to get away from the world and politics and crap going on everywhere. And just to share pictures of me labeling my Game Boy Advance cartridges.
And whatever other dumb bullshit anybody has thought of that day.
Yes. So please come chat with us. And you can also listen to our newest show. Not our show. We're in
our tangentially related show.
We're in some form of charge of it, but I don't know why. It's called Cinema Rogues. It's also in your episode description.
Yes.
It's on our Patreon, but you don't have to be a patron.
Right.
So
you don't have to pay for it. It's free.
Go listen to our producer Guy and our Talking Wizards co-host Andrew talk about movies. It's a great show. I like it. So yeah. Do that. Support us. We would love it if you did that with the support, because Dole Bananas sure as hell isn't going to, despite all the kind words we said about
We
them.
said so many nice things about Dole Bananas this episode, and they've yet to pay us $1.
All right, maybe we'll just go send Chiquita an email and see what's going on. Hey, Chiquita.
I didn't even get any free bananas.
What?
You know, they actually back on topic briefly for a second as we're fading out. They released as a pre-order bonus for Super Monkey Ball 2 a Super Monkey Ball 2 branded banana that you could attach onto your analog stick for your GameCube, and that way you could have the banana grip. And it was so heavy that it would make your analog stick immediately fall to one angle.
I'm immediately buying that on eBay.
I haven't seen it on eBay. I've been looking. I can't find where mine is. I don't know what happened to the box that it was in, but
when I woke up today, I thought, man, I really want to ruin a GameCube controller and spend too much money on stupid shit.
Yes.
And you just gave me the perfect out.
That is the way to do it.
Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. And as always, let us cling together.